Greetings. This is TimeRider at Chapter 4. This is an MB35 or an MB16 produced 1987-1988. Series 1 through 75, color blue and white, tampos, orange and yellow stripes, base, pearly gray metal, window color clear, interior color black, wheel type Superfast, made in Macaw, the Land Rover 90. It wasn't that I was looking to do another Land Rover. You see, I had these tires, and I wanted something to put them on, and this just seemed like the perfect thing. As you can see, it's very dirty. It is not in great shape. The push bumpers are bent, but we're going to see what we can do about it, so stick around. Disassembling a Superfast is no different than disassembling a regular Matchbox. At least that's been my experience up until now. They're typically held together with some type of a post that's been mushroomed. Sometimes part of them are held on by a clip or a molding piece. Sometimes they're held on to a second post. This is only the second one of these I've done, but I own quite a few that I'm going to be doing coming up. Removing the base is actually fairly easy, and then inside you'll find an interior. I'm trying to be careful with this because the push bumpers are attached to it and I don't want to wreck them. The glass was really, really dirty. I was a little afraid I was going to crack it while I was taking out the piece, but I didn't, and it eventually popped right out. And then this particular model has a white plastic roof that I needed to remove before I could paint it. So then it's just a matter of drilling out the post, and I found some Superfast posts seem to be a little bit smaller than some of the originals, or maybe it's my imagination, but I have had occasion where I thought that epoxying them back together might be a better solution, and I'll glue certain parts of this as I take it upon myself to put it back together. But I'm going to drill a hole here as you would expect, and once I get the hole drilled to the depth that I want it, I'm going to put a tap in it and tap it with a 2-56 tap, and I will use a 2-56 button screw to put the thing back together. And just so you know, I actually started this project a while ago, so I may not do some things here that I've started doing since. But I finally finished the project. It's just been kind of sitting on my bench, and I just decided to get it done. I think it's a neat project, and I think it turned out really well. So anyway, we're going to go forward here and visit the TimeRider Burlesque Stripper Show. So stand by. I thought this might be kind of hard paint to get off, so I decided to go with the aerosol aircraft stripper right from the get-go instead of the citrus stripper, which, as everybody knows, is my favorite. But I did manage to get the paint off and the tampos off and get it ready to do something with it. The casting was in really good shape, and it just kind of needed to be cleaned up a little bit, like most castings. And I had, like I had said earlier, I had these tires, and they had these wonderful red line stripes around them, kind of like a Hot Wheels red line. And so it made the decision to paint this Land Rover red really easy. So get it ready to, put some primer down on it, and we're going to make it look pretty again. The base had this really crusty suspension piece. It was made of metal. I was kind of impressed because I've had to straighten so many plastic ones in boiling water. But anyway, my plan was to change the wheels, so I just was able to lift the wheels out from underneath the suspension. God, why'd they pick that color? What an awful color. Sometimes I don't understand them. Sometimes I just didn't understand those guys at Lesney. When have you ever seen the bottom of a car this color? And who down there said, what color should we make it? I had somebody else say, the color of skin. So anyway, a little bit of citrus stripper will fix this up. So the paint's off and the casting is clean, so it's time to take a good look at it, a good evaluation. And actually, other than what you saw me do right there, straightening that roof piece a little bit, the casting was in pretty good shape. It wasn't really gouged or anything, and the pillars were all straight. Yeah, this was going to look good when it was done. Take a minute and scrub the paint off the bottom of the model. Using Tamiya primer, in this case gray, like everybody else on the planet. I'll get it ready for paint. I'm also going to prime the chassis gray, which I will paint black. I decided to spray this car with Tester's red enamel. Enamel has, a really good resilience. Sometimes I get frustrated with the acrylic lacquers because they seem to chip so easily. So, throwing on a little tack coat here. And I'm following up the tack coat with successively heavier coats until I got to this color here. It looks really deep red here, but the thing is in the end result, I think it comes across much brighter. I don't know if it's just lighting or once the paint dried, it looked a little better or what. But anyway, this is kind of where I left it. As I had said earlier, I went with just straight black on the bottom of the chassis. Something a little more acceptable than skin tone. The top was just plastic, and I just decided to paint it over white. I found I had to kind of lift that up to keep the airbrush from blowing the top all over the place because it was really, really light. I suppose I could have somehow taped it down, but this just seemed to work as well. And with the chassis dry, it's time to put the wheels in. The suspension holding the wheels in made it very easy. These wheels and tires I purchased from the Greenlight shop at the same time as I did the last Land Rover custom. I just really liked them. I thought they would go well on a red vehicle. There you have it. The plastic pieces were all in pretty good condition. They were just dirty. So, throw them in a bath of hot soapy water and get out Marty's wife's extra special toothbrush and give them all a scrub. I thought about changing the color of the interior, but really this was going to be almost a restoration in a lot of ways, even though I guess I'd really call it a custom. But the windshield was just dirty also, so I took some Novus polish and did the inside and the outside of the windows, get them as clean and scratch free as I could. Once all the painted parts had cured, I glued the plastic top back onto the body using some RTV black silicone, and I think it looks pretty good. It had been suggested to me by a couple of commenters that I could tint the windows using this TS13 Tamiya aerosol smoke-colored spray. So I shot it on from the backside, and then eventually what I did is I just turned it over on a paper towel to wick away the excess. It turned out pretty dark upon assembly, but I can see a use for it at some point. So I did the assembly off camera. So let me get back to where I started. Yellow top, I didn't really care for this color blue at all. I thought it was kind of dull, and maybe it was just dirty, who knows. I wound up straightening out the brush guard. I guess I called it a push bumper while I worked in law enforcement. Old habits die hard. I just straightened that out using a tea candle and a pliers. I just heated up that distorted portion and straightened it using a pliers very carefully. I'm sorry, I probably should have filmed that, but I didn't. And other than that, it was just simple assembly, 2 tabs in the back and a screw in the front. And let's get to where I finally wound up. And you're right, I did not paint in any of the details. I got to this point and I was so happy with the paint and the look of the toy that I just thought I'm going to end here. And they weren't painted in the original. And if I ever decide to paint them, maybe I'll do a little video and tack it on to the end of another video. But here it is, the Matchbox Land Rover 90 Superfast a la TimeRider. This is TimeRider at Chapter 4, and I'll leave the light on for you. Subscribe if you will, and share if you must. But above all, please be safe. Now hang around here if you want to watch a little bit of stuff that I'm going to start adding on to the end. It'll just take a minute of your time. And if you're not interested, well, we'll see you next time. I was watching a video by George Hodges the other day. He's one of my new recommended channels, and the guy is just a paint wizard, and he's new to the war, so be nice to him. But I thought, he does these little bits where he shows cars that he did before and just sort of tacks them onto videos, and I thought that is kind of a neat idea. And I decided to add a little feature onto the back end of this video. And I debated whether to do it on the front or the back, but I'd rather do it on the back. So if this kind of thing doesn't interest you, you don't have to watch. And I decided to call it The Bench, and it's just going to be tips or things that I have coming up. And what I'm going to start with is this one here. I had one of my subscribers send me this car in a bag, plastic bag, along with a couple other castings. It was already disassembled. Lesney, of course, painted the bottom that god-awful pink, but we're going to see about fixing that. And that's one project that I got working on the bench right now. And the second project that I have working on the bench right now is this number 71C Heavy Wrecker. And I'm working with Nick at Matchbox Restorations. We decided to do a couple side-by-side projects, and we decided upon wreckers. So he's going to be doing a wrecker, and I'll let him tell you about his project. And but this is going to be mine. So that's it for me today. And again, please be safe out there, and I'll see you next time. This is TimeRider, and I'll leave the light on for you.